This episode of Jujutsu Kaisen adapts chapters 67, 68, and 69 from the manga, and it's more or less a direct panel-for-panel adaptation into the episode. The only scene that was anime only from my understanding is the scene where Toji was eating at a restaurant and was talking to his friend about his plan on placing a bounty on Riko's head on the internet, which would wear down Gojo for the next 48 hours. There in the restaurant, another customer bumped into Toji, but it was the other guy that fell onto the floor, not Toji. Guys, I love this scene because this is just a small hint on the monster that is to come against Geto and Gojo. Toji didn't even fall back. He literally was walking like normal and didn't feel a thing. It's the physicality they emphasized here with Toji, which they didn't do in the manga, so I love this little seed they planted for us. Not sure how many of you anime onlys clocked onto that scene, but the anime was really going out of its way to foreshadow the upcoming events. For instance, Geto's fight with the old man. The old man believed the way Geto's stance was raised as he was about to fight indicated to him that Geto did not want to get involved in a close combat style fight, which he obviously was wrong for assuming that, and it was foreshadowed in the manga as well. But the whole close combat element of fighting in this series, we forget how important it is for Jujutsu sorcerers to not only be master users in cursed techniques and even the cursed tools given to them, but also being elite level close combat fighters as well. Look at Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Gojo vs Miguel. Yes, of course, Gojo was using his infinity against Miguel, but this is almost standard for Gojo, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. But then towards the end of his fight against Miguel, he started throwing hands and started punching the shit out of him, similar to how Geto was punching the living daylights out of the old man to finish him off in this episode. This is massively important because we just saw a glimpse on how naturally strong Toji is, to the point where he doesn't even need to try to overpower other guys that try to be physical against him. And then with this episode talking about how close combat can be a weakness against Geto, it just paints a picture, doesn't it, guys? But I guess we would just have to wait and see, wouldn't we? I'm sure a lot of you anime onlys clocked on when Toji was asked how is Megumi. I've seen some reaction videos with the theories flying around that Toji could be Megumi's older brother. I won't be saying anything because I want that reveal to be a surprise for you guys. I'm hoping none of you guys that only watch the anime have not seen any spoilers on social media. Guys, please don't go to Twitter and search up Toji or anything season 2 related. It's literally full of spoilers, so just for your own enjoyment, avoid searching up any new characters that you will meet in season 2. But yes, going back to when Toji was asked how is Megumi, and Toji literally didn't know who Megumi was. Now, given that he's definitely related to Megumi, and the fact that this is like a decade ago, Megumi would have been like maybe 5 or 6 years old during this event, and he's acting like he has no clue who Megumi is despite being related to him. He's acting like, who the hell is Megumi? Now, what I clocked on from this episode is that we got the big three of Toji, Geto, and Gojo having their own moments, shall I say, on how paternal they are, or at least how caring they are to protect those younger/weaker than them. At first, we had Geto explaining to Gojo that Riko should be allowed to do what she wants to do for now. She should be allowed to be with her friends to chill and enjoy these precious moments before she's locked away with the merger with Master Tengen. This shows that Geto is both caring and understanding of Riko's situation and can see from her point of view. Then we had Gojo, who had no trouble in saying to Riko that she will be going back to Jujutsu High to remain there until the merger. There was that scene where Gojo and Kurui were in the school looking for Riko, where Gojo says to Kurui that brat Riko should have been an eye-shot distance from us. So here we can see Gojo does want her to be safe, but is it due to the mission or is it due to actually wanting to see Riko be safe? That in itself is a debate, but let's just give Gojo the benefit of the doubt and say that he wants Riko to be safe. Yes, he wants her to be safe, but it's at the cost of her final few days of freedom. Gojo cares enough for her to be safe, but not enough to actually see that Riko wants to be with her friends and enjoy herself for the last time. And then finally you had Toji, who I just mentioned before that he doesn't even remember who Megumi is despite being related to him. This just shows that he doesn't give two shits about Megumi. I mean, the fact that his friend remembered who Megumi was and not him kind of speaks volume on where Megumi is listed in Toji's priority list. But with the big three characters in this episode, we saw the level of kindness they can show to weaker characters. Geto showed full kindness and compassion. Gojo cares about the safety but nothing else. whilst Toji doesn't give a shit at all. So Gojo is basically in the middle of Geto and Toji when it comes to humanity. He has enough good nature within him like Geto to keep him from going fully insane and potentially to be the biggest threat to the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, like how Toji ended up being. I said in my explain video on the previous episode that Geto is keeping Gojo from going off the rails. Well, in this brief character moment from Gojo, you can see he is tiptoeing on the line of good and bad. Last episode, he mentioned how exhausting it is to save the weak and non-sorcerers, and in this episode, he is treating his mission into saving Riko as if it's a chore, not actually caring for her mental well-being. So you can see just in the past 2 episodes alone that Gojo lacks a lot of humanity and has a lot of emotional maturing to do. We see Gojo in season 1 where he's definitely not a bad guy. If anything, he's basically a hero now in the current timeline. So we do see that Gojo does become mature and becomes more human than God. But what I really like is that the show is teasing us with the possibility that Gojo could have become the bad guy. If anything, the way he was acting and his core beliefs during the time of the Gojo past arc, you would believe that the trajectory would only be for him to be the bad guy. But that wasn't the case, so maybe something incredible happens in the next few episodes that can potentially change Gojo's outlook on life. The episode overall was another solid episode. Really love the comedy being displayed here. Love both the beginning and ending scene with Geto chilling on the couch whilst he's holding the mercenary from the Q group, whilst at the end of the episode we see Gojo attempting to do the reverse curse technique Red Glow, which fails miserably, and he ends up punching the assassin instead. The episode was well paced, gave an extra scene to Toji, had comedy moments throughout the episode, had great action scenes with Geto unleashing his Shikigamis against the old man assassin, and the episode ends in a cliffhanger with Kurui being kidnapped. Loving the series so far, but what do you guys think of this episode? Comment below and let me know, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Shaman Tribe.